What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We are here, hopefully, to not have any more issues like we did last time. But we'll see. So welcome. Luckily, because we got kicked, we should be able to, uh-oh. Yep. Having some audio delay. That's normal. That's normal. We ain't even tripping on audio delay, guys. That should fix that problem. It did. So let's get to it. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin. I'm also eating a Hot Pocket, so if you hear that, this is me eating a Hot Pocket.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city. For therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a porksy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with ceruleum heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinists will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophoroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
'Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rhine. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, Should prove useful in navigating the ice fields.
Should it now? Extensive travels is something of an understatement, but I suppose if there's nothing else that needs doing. Ice fields? I love ice fields. Oh wait, no I don't. I'm doing that one because I'm... yeah.
As ever, you do not want for enthusiasm. But given your experience traipsing about through Kurthus, I should be surprised if you let a little inclement weather dampen your redoubtable spirits. And even if that were the case, the promise of hot soup upon your return would surely spur you to action.
Hot soup?
You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
Not so for you! That quote might be a little before somebody else's time. Just depends. 'Gods be good. If it's this cold with Tataru's clothing, I dread to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when we next meet. It makes me realize too that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them and quickly. What's this called? Alright, so tracks in the snow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 quests. We might get to it before I have to go to work. We'll see. 2.5 hours, we'll see. What ho, chums? I have been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like a rather tall order. Since you ask, where to scour the Elben Ream for survivors. There's a gnat, and he's in my face, and I'm gonna get him. Show yourself. Where hast thou gone? He's gonna show himself when I'm busy. What? Wander around ice fields and on the off chance you'll find someone? You'd take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise, or more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends. I know just the spot to begin our search. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. Hey, look. We're grabbing this one just because we can see it. If it wasn't like in our line of sight, we probably would have just waited. Not even gonna lie. I didn't grab any in like the last 2 areas that we went to, so. I think Garlemald is the first area you actually get flight in though, like fully. Because if I remember correctly, yeah, you get a Aether Current when you do the dungeon. And then obviously there's gonna be some side quests in between, but yeah. And then because this is the most current expansion, you'll see that you have a lot to do. There is a lot to find. You have to find, what is that, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you gotta find 10 and do 5 quests. That's how it works. So beforehand we're like, oh, it's 4 and 5, 4 and 5, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. No. 5 and 10. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheep thing, or maybe it's a cow. Not what we're after either way. Is that an aether current? No, just a wind spread. Oh, then. Other than that, it's all snow, snow, snow. But lo, what do I see over on yon hillock? No, there's no mistaking it. That's a girl. A survivor? Show me. Over there, behind that tree. It looks like she's running away from something. Though surely not us. She wouldn't even know we were here unless she had a telescope like mine. All I can tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress, a rather fetching one at that. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near, but we should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you're heading. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. The poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful, thank you. But won't you need some for yourself? No, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed. So I'm gonna have to, off stream at some point, whenever I have the actual chance to do it. I'm actually gonna have to come out and do all the aether currents. Because I'm not gonna find them on stream. It's time consuming, and a trail of footprints leads east. It's time consuming. Two, it's, on top of it being time consuming, it isn't beneficial for the task at hand. In the sense of, leading towards the building. In the sense of the fact that, the word I'm looking for escapes me, for the goal that we're trying to achieve. Later on, will we need flight? Absolutely. So that's why I said off stream I'm gonna have to. We're getting closer, I'm sure of it. At first we thought she'd gone inside this building, but the door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? So the goal is to get Endwalker completed before Dawn Trail launch. We have a little over a month to do that. Hi, honey. Can I help you? You're my good girl. Yeah. Stop it. That being said, with us attempting to get to Dawn Trail as quickly as possible, I'm not going to do the tedious things that need to be done out on stream because it just takes too much time. I will spend some time off stream. It shouldn't take me extremely long, but I will spend some time off stream finding all the aether currents. The girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention. Yeah, so goal is to follow the girl from a safe distance. Objective failed if she notices you or if you fall too far behind. So far, so good. Yeah, so, and then once we get all the aether currents and stuff, obviously, like I said, we'll be able to fly, we'll be able to do all sorts of things. Like, I'm afraid to, like, go after her, but... I think I need to get behind this tree. someone there. Stay over there. And then once we do that, we can fly. It'll make host and walker stuff so much easier once we're able to fly. Honestly, it'll make a lot of the stuff even leading up to post and walker stuff easier if we're able to fly. The downside is it's tedious. I really do hope they eventually revamp the how to unlock flight in an area. There are those who do believe that flight should just be given right out the gate. I'm of the mind that I don't care either way. Do I think it should be easier? Absolutely. I absolutely think it should be easier. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it should just be given. Because it's something that literally helps you along with the story, helps you do things. Certain things have been story locked, or not story locked, flight locked, like you can't get to an area. You literally cannot get to an area if you don't have flight sometimes. And if you're going to hold us from being able to fly like that, you need to be able to give it to us easier if you're gonna just lock it. Because like some people don't care. Some people don't care. They're just like, dude, I don't need to fly. I'll run everywhere. I'll teleport everywhere. Yada yada. That's fine. That is a valid option to walk everywhere, use your mount to get everywhere. Should I hid behind that tree? Trying to like bounce between rocks in case she decides to turn around. But you know it. So it's because it should. I believe, in my opinion, I believe it should be listed as an optional thing, not something that's required. They need to make it easier for the people that want to do it optionally, because if they don't, it becomes tedious. Sorry, I got a random phone call. But yeah. Moving on. We caught up to the girl in green. Who are you? Stay back. This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please, we just want to talk. I'm Alpha now. This is my sister Alize and our good friend PK Thunder. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We are comrades and have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all this. You did this to us. We didn't, I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. The Telophoroi are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald, and they won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They're the enemy, our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who have been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we've met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telophoroi's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name is Licinia. As for how I've managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since last night, and the roar, the terrible roar, and then the screams. I was screaming too. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. Stop it. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran, past friends, people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Didn't chill out. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled as far as my legs would take me. Both of y'all, that's enough. You have family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers, or it was, but now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe, and I didn't know if you were. The truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help, can you? Of course. Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. This is everyone? Licinia says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with the means of heating the place as a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that is too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alize? We'll have a fire burning in no time. May we build it under that gazebo? The what? Oh, you mean the bower? Yes, yes. Do as you will. Something's up with her. Sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. Oh, hold on. I got my eye itches. Oh. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all that running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in far worse state than me. We were planning to look for somewhere warmer or with more food, but they're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health, which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? We can use magic! Something you Garleans can't do, but that's not a problem. We can still help. I can treat their frostbite and their wounds, but it'll take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Emilian's tinctures, the ones that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? The numbness is beginning to subside, though I suspect once the fire dies, it will return with a vengeance. Not if you drink this. Warming tincture. I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems rather absurd after what's happened. But it's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from the wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magitech that sustained us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot be run for lack of ceruleum. Of course, Cerula Engines is full of the stuff, for all that good that does us. No one here knows the first thing about extracting or refinement. All is well, yes, never better. Oh, what sweet libation is this? Is it poison by any chance? No. 'Twas a joke. If I laughed, 'tis that I may not weep. So said the poets. And alas, my tears would freeze on my cheek ere they fell. We are the blessed damned, to bear witness to the fall of the great empire while our brethren lie dead, or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace, each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering perhaps to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. What do you want? A tincture? May as well drink it, I suppose. This? It's a radio. You don't have them where you're from, I take it? We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components, crafted with the finest ores, sourced from Lacus Amonis, it is. Not all that useful since the capital fell to ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have fled or ended up like all the others, because all we've been hearing is the same music, played over and over and over again. Home Beyond the Horizon, an ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Lacus Ammonius. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hope to take back what was once ours. It is a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. What's that? So this is what you gave the others. Thank you, I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Latrum? I saw Legatus Vergilia's troops heading towards the Magna Glacies a few days ago, and are they the ones you encountered? Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergilia and her men are now there? So how did he reach the Magna Glacies? Did you cross the mountains on foot? By airship. Airships? Then there might be a way to. Lucinia, where is everyone? Is something the matter? A voice from inside, you say? You must be imagining things. Everyone's out here. Perhaps a baby Almasti was found its way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. Without the soldiers to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have even been known to attack people too. I've just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat a Legatus, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head over to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose jobs was to extract ceruleum. They still do, from what I can tell. I've already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food, and that's something we don't have and can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, we'd have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supplies, but there might be another way to pay for the tappers. But ceruleum need, then ceruleum we shall have. You best watch out for baby Almasties while we're away. Yes, of course. If I see any, I'll be sure to shoo them away. To reach tappers, then you have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, then you'll take the long way around. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky too, so it's easier just to look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. Demi, chill out. Demi! You need to relax, honey. I know it's hard. If I remember correctly, there was a way of falling. There was a way to walk along the pipe, and there is an aether current on the pipe. And not only that, I mean, it's in the direction we're going, so we need to just get it now. I don't remember exactly where it is. I just remember that it was on the pipe somewhere. It might not even be this section of pipe. It might be the pipe further down in the opposite direction. Yeah, it's other. I was like, yep, maybe it was the other direction, but no, here it is. The only way to get this aether current is literally to do it. I'm not gonna ignore aether currents that I see along the way, because that helps make my off-stream thing a little smoother, a little quicker. Fate failed. I have a mount. What am I doing? Another one. I'm grabbing it just because it's here. There's no point in me going right past it. Y'all chill out. Lay down. Who goes there? How did you find us? What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the pure bloods of the victors spoils hadn't given away our location, you'd have never found us. Those stuck-up assholes thought they could come waltzing in here demanding ceruleum with nothing to offer in return. Looks like the boot's on the other foot now the capital's gone to shite. So they've resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, Sellsword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another thing coming. I mean, I didn't want to fight, but I also don't want to. Stop, please consider me intimidated. There you are. Just after you left, Lissini asked me to go and catch up with you in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let slip that I have little experience in transporting burials of ceruleum. So this is the Tapper's Den. Well then, after you. Get me. Who are you? What happened to the guards? They attacked me. so I killed them. Eorzeans and rebels here to save the people of Garlemald. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the hells would you pass up this chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess, none of you are Garlean. You were brought here from other lands. Garabanya, Yanksha, Boja, Damaska, to name but a few. Some dragged here against our will, others said bollocks about a better life, all to put to work extracting a cerulean. All given the esteemed title of On, placing us firmly at the bottom rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing in the new Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is Cerula Ingens, still sustaining us even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up cerulean from the bottom of the lake, but how can you do that if it's frozen over? Huh. Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with the city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it might stave off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we've got ceruleum by the barrelful if they're interested. We'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. We can certainly ask, but if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we managed to get back to our homelands, there'd be nothing left for us thanks to the Empire, and the knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being. Long as there's a need for ceruleum, we'll find a way to get by, even if Garlemald as we knew it was gone for good. Gone for good. Regardless of what the Elsevier contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause for celebration, while for others, their whole way of life will have been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people, their lives, their stories? Should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder on that later. For now, let us see about getting some ceruleum. So you come seeking ceruleum, have you? Khajiit has wares if you have the coin. What? Those purebloods up at Victor's Spoils sent you. To turn to their enemies for help, they must be more desperate than I thought. Then again, Lasinia's got her little sister to think about. A sister, but we only saw Lasinia and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Lasinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange, but I can spare them a bottle's worth of ceruleum. Consider a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way, you hear? Demi and Alistair, behave. I can't for the life of me think why Lasinia would keep her sister a secret from us, but we can ask about that after we've delivered the ceruleum. Come, let's hurry back. If we could fly, we'd pretty much already be there by now. He can fly, he can fly, he can fly, he can fly. My inventory is in dire need of fixing. It's like full. Me. children. When they get quiet, all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, what is happening? So I will be R to the bees. Okay. This isn't right. It's too quiet. I would have thought Alphino would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have gone far. He beat the shit out of him, didn't he? They asked me to help carry supplies, but when I followed them back here, they attacked me. Caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know what you're about. Vultures, that's what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, then you'll swoop. Here to help? What rot. All a ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you in, put ourselves at your mercy, put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. You're wrong. That's not the way any of us want. That's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later. We've got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles and a bed that was still warm. It's true, Licinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. But now there's no sign of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours, and if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot. Her sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it, so the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry, or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. You invade our homeland, taint it with some sorcery used to slay our countrymen. A Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, than be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them, since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Licinia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries and theirs. I will join you in the search after. Alright, be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's the way they'll have to start. that back off. This way it just keeps the zone music on. 2 sets of fresh footprints. Young women judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. I was gonna mount back up, but I thought it was closer. And now that I've discovered that it's a little further than I originally thought, I'm already like almost there. Trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose the route so as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts, and I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphanau's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. And now it's raining. Wunderbar. The search area is massive. Oh, there's something. A wet, half-buried piece in the snow appears to be a flyer for a theater group. Through the run, the show says advertised has long since ended. Fresh blood. The blood stained the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood leads southeastwards. Back off. Lucinia. The 2 bodies are already cold. They died.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked. No. Why? Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold.
Demi.
I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand, so I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
No, not Alphanode. There must have been something we could have done, but what? Should we have never come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? We have already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them, someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is make a report to Lucia, and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. Alexander and Alphanode, tell me you have finished the preliminary search for the survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Clearly they are reluctant to provide details. May I ask for your account? Explains everything.
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments, and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
Demi, what are you doing? You need to lay down, baby.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced, while some were merely stripped of their status. Others died under curious circumstances, one after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession. And in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babil stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends! I must speak with you! A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a temple knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we... Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
What would your mother say if I let you go by yourself?
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
Couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
You were received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred in particular will be worried sick if you're gone too long. May the Fury watch over you and keep you. Are you and the children ready? I will explain the route once we're outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it as an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead, I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I am Alize, he is Alphanode. And last but not least, there's PK Thunder. PK Thunder? Where have I heard that before? No matter, Alphanout and Alize will watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so if you're to run, not saunter, run towards the station. If you think you're about to, if you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. He will accompany you. Make for Little Station 4 without falling behind. Can't leave him for any reason. Ready to make a dash to the station. Over that hill. Right. I like how he was like, there's many dangers ahead. I'm gonna need my weapon back. But then he tells us, oh yeah, you can't pull out your weapon. Fuck the dangers. We're gonna go around him. Behave. I mean, you can be. Station 4. This is it, the first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, we stopped here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Regio Demorum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close, no wandering off. Understood? Here we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen. Aye, they spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. These two will follow us. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. It was like right to the northwest, that's why I came. 63 almost? Bro, it's gotta be like right here. Southeast. Somehow I passed it. Wait, where are we? Is it in here? I knew it was really close. I just didn't know where. Walk right into that guy. Hey, don't be fighting over that bone. I'm gonna take it. I see why your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we might administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. If that's so, for all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. $276 knots. I got to stop. Looks like we're not being followed. We can continue onward. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of a desire to remain undiscovered, and that is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. Northwest. Really, dummy? Look at what they have become. Would you still stand there and claim that they can be cured? Those exposed to a vast quantity of the primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you have seen these monstrosities yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. We're almost there. You have kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine this way. This is Terdium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I will be with you soon. So wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. It's plain to see that they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed. But if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search for food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may have shielded... They may be... They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold, much like Victor's spoils. It must be the constant struggle to keep the people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guest, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive over there. Wait a minute, you're doing MSQ, but you have, I thought they were wearing the Thalia gear. I was like, that doesn't make sense. How are you doing MSQ? He's right, not responding. Okay. We're prevented from teleporting back out here. For now. Not searching for, I'm sorry. I think there's a thing down here, isn't there? No. I was thinking there was an aether current down here for some reason. But that would not have made much sense.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Vankina, Legatus of the First Legion.
The First? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our Emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
Like, I get that they're afraid that we're going to attack them out of revenge. And I mean, I totally understand it. And I mean, the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. But they're just basically drawing a blind eye. Like, they could have sent a Garlean with us that we had just, like, cured or something. And they would have been like, he'd be like, look, I was, you know, oh, well, I guess they'd think just the way that Julius thinks, which is, oh, so you're enslaving him now, too, to your side instead of Garlemald or whatever? So, I don't know.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here.
Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference. To make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together? To face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith?
I mean, here's a point.
That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you, if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop. Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
Because even the most bitter adversary may one day see reason. On the coldest, blackest of nights, meager though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire. Aww.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
That one was like the last bastion. Yeah, and this one is Persona non grata. Puts us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quests. So we definitely made progress, but with an hour left, that's not even enough time to do a dungeon. Not enough time to do all the quests and do the dungeon, I should say. As per Lord Quintus' instructions, I am to supervise you during your time here in Teridium. Before you ask, no, I do not have the key or any other means to remove your collar, nor would I tell you if I did, and if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean, or perhaps you don't, or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch when you are doing anything untoward to trying to trick our people into turning their codes and the like, those shock collars will be the least of your worries, understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation, and above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wherever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried, but do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphinaud and Alize will pay the price. It's a nice jacket you got there, Mr. Paladin. Diadox jacket offending. It's not a bad jacket. Oh, he's got nothing but the Diadox gear on except for the helmet. Which is what it is. But I want to try it on. Just real quick. This is all level 90 gear. This is the highest gear you can craft. Doesn't look half bad on me, but you know. It's so cold. The young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. Fix my shit. We have not the resources or inclination to assist the likes of you. Be gone. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Damn. Tore the sutures. All the times, the worst of the lot. Within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it were for the if it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Regilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus's life, but we made our escape, took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then night fell and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, the terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact but our body broken, a soldier in name alone. I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. Wow. Somebody's not thrilled. Stop it. Radio is the same model as the one used in Victor's Spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Alistair. Alistair. Listen up. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city built by Garleans, for Garleans. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep this place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. It's you, PK Thunderthighs. I've served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night of the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends, swept them aside like in the dozens, as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too, just another faceless enemy to be cut down, but it won't be long before our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve, mark my words. Did you learn anything of note? Yeah, they all hate us. And your finding are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are the greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize there is precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Who's there? My eyes, I can't see all that well, huh? Thank you. The numbness has subsided a little, but I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. So, those you met fare no better? I was afraid you'd say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him, though we'd need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough. Julius, the people here barely have enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from nearby houses. as most families kept some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greatest concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. It could have been other refugees, or one of the afflicted for all we know. Either way, we're down to our last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health will only get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. Those mysterious countrymen of yours, I assume. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or, in those bastards' words, loyal servants of the Telophoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy's power. We realized Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telophoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running to the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before your reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No, he will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You're a lot more trouble than you're worth. Once we're outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. His park materials. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will begin our search for ceruleum at Regio Urbanisma. The search location is Forum Solius, a park to the northwest of the station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Alright. A quick bio for everybody, and we will continue on the adventure. We are to let's go. Only because I can see it up there. So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. Healthy society requires communal space for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Zos Galdus. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked magic tank armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes to the rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. While I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. Then with your permission, we will commence the search. Let me stop. Let me stop. Alright, let's see. These big old search areas, it's always the last one for me that takes forever to find. This doesn't take terribly long. Oh, it's you. Any luck? Negative. There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, no, It's just I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet, and when all was said and done, every time. And every time we'd get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. Was a ceruleum powered heater by chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath the hatch. That was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear, and it wasn't this blackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Guardian would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first has a few foreign signifri and medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now. Alphanode, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, I'll blast over a fire. A blast over a fire should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. The tank isn't going to fetch itself. There's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake, like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up afterwards. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? A little friendly competition might make things interesting. The last thing we need is catching a cold. Sit aside while I drink the pond dry. That's how we'll find it in no time. Also, when I find this ceruleum tank is rotten, though I dare say we both smell like rotten eggs when this is over. What's the middle one? I can't remember. Still too long. It's not the middle one. I think it's that one over there. Demi, where are you going? Nothing in my hand. People have retrieved the ceruleum tank. It's cold as fuck. However, your grand discovery comes at great personal cost as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and rancid odor emanating from every animal of your body. Julius will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver him your prize. Did you find anything? Sniff, sniff. I hope you did. That's it. And there's still some ceruleum left. The fire's not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alphanode a hand. Call me an Uldan because by fire I am reborn, and my clothes are mostly dry now too. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all is well and ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat, and sitting down by a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find and watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble. Those friends dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had, soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search just outside the park. Me. Level 90 Riva. Doing MSQ. As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have recovered the tanks from less damaged units, those that took more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We've decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prise them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you to stand well clear to avoid being hit by shrapnel. Before even bothering, though, we should check the Machina's ceruleum gauge to see if there's any left. It should still provide an accurate reading, even with the unit itself inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use the explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood, let's get to work. So let me guess, another gigantic area. According to the gauge, the fuel tank is empty. Fuel gauge on the scene appears to have been broken, giving you no way to determine how much fuel it may hold. Well, I mean, he said if I need more, just come in out. Completely empty. Broken gauge. Let's blow it up. Half empty. Or half full. More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? You've done it again. Surely luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we head back. Well, wait here while I go and see how Isaiah and Alpha are faring. Oh, shit.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we? Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development. And perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for.
Maybe.
Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eulus spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
everything we've said and done. This is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Everything will be alright. Have faith.
Get them out of here.
I'm assuming I need to teleport back to Broken Glass, let them know what's going on. After our lives, they will be fine, providing they do not resist. We will accompany you back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus' demands. Before we depart, however, there is something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they sunder will be needed to be transported here. The task falls to Legionnaires Marcellus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitek armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the ill for further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me back at the exit. Speaking in code. You again. Ask the ill, he said. So that's to be the way of it after all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it, for the glory of Garlemald. What do you want with me? Asked the ill, so Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand that we would recognize the savage is a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of the Emperor Varus, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. They're gonna fucking try to kamikaze us, is basically what it sounds like. Have you done as instructed? What do you mean by ask the ill? I'm not at liberty to divulge that. What I can say is this. You have no cause for concern if our demands are met. You and I are in it together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There is one other matter. A place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. Yeah, I think they've been told to kill themselves if we don't comply by, like, I don't know, blowing themselves up or something. That would be my assumption anyway. You don't want to listen? Fine, I'm gonna blow myself up, boy. Go. Who lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay, unable to move on. Is his old house.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
Is it gonna take me all the way there, or do I have to teleport still?
It's no use.
Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
So cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. about why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people, one race cleansed of imperfections, a cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics, to see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
That's a long cutscene.
Thank you, Alice.
Justinian.
The scouts have secured Alizé and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return!
That's the information she was going to give you, you idiot.
Stop! Both of you! This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Oh, damn.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
Much and more has occurred since we last met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. He's gonna be talking to you. Next quest strange bedfellows. We are like 2 quests out. Unfortunately, I do have to go to work. So it is going to be on the next time that we do this. 2 quests out though. And let's see. On top of that, we got, let's see, so when we do the dungeon, then we got 2 quests before the trial. When we do the trial, then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 quests before the next dungeon. And then, holy crap, like a boatload of quests after that before we get to the next dungeon. So, 28 quests after Vanispati before we get another dungeon. So we are in a jam after that one, like, whew. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you all